Everyone and their mother has been waiting for this book for the whole year, and today I'm going to give you an overview of what it's about, and then we're going to go ahead and get into the reading vlog where I show you everything and every single emotion that came through me when I read this book. And then at the end, it's going to be a non-spoiler review. However, the reading vlog does contain some spoilers because I talk about the event that happens and how I reacted to it. So if you don't want to be spoiled throughout the reading vlog, just click on the timestamp down below and it'll skip over the reading vlog and you can go straight to the non-spoiler review. Other than that, let's go ahead and get started. What is Iron Flame about? So Iron Flame picks up exactly where Fourth Wing left off. So if you have not read Fourth Wing, why are you here? Please read Fourth Wing and then come back to this. But Iron Flame basically picks up where, literally exactly where book 1 left off, and we are in Erasia, where we find out that Xaden is kind of the ruler, because you know he's a father's son and he basically rules Erasia. Brennan is alive, Violet is a part of the revolution, and then from there they decide to send the cadets back to Basgiath, and then we follow Violet as she goes through her second year at Basgiath, knowing that there's conspiracies to stop the rebels and the rebellion and the people with the relic, and how she faces a lot of obstacles along the way, and also her coming to terms with the fact that the Venom are real and all kinds of stuff, and having secrets hidden from her from Xaden, and her having to hide secrets from her friends as well because she can't endanger them and put them in the situation that she is in. So it basically builds up on everything that Fourth Wing already sort of talked about and expands on it. It answers a lot of the questions that we had about what other secrets is Xaden hiding, how are people going to handle Andarna growing, etc, etc. Things that we were wondering get answered in this book. We got a lot of answered questions, but now we have even more questions. So now that I have the overview, let's go ahead and get into the reading vlog. I have begun Iron Flame. What I do not like is that it still has that damn thing that says this text has been faithfully transcribed from Empyrean to modern language, blah blah blah, to preserve the honor of the courage of those who have fallen. May their souls be commended to Malik. I was hoping that that dedication was only going to be in book 1 because Liam, right? No, it's in this one too. So this is like further scaring me now, because now I'm like, okay, are these characters dying? Is Violet gonna die? Is Taryn gonna die? Is Andarna gonna die? Is Xaden gonna die? Dane? Who cares about Dane? I don't need these other characters to die. They cannot die. You hear me? They cannot. Because my heart will be broken. Anyways, I just ripped it. I just ripped it. Let's start chapter 1. So I finished chapter 1 of Iron Flame, and I noticed the pacing is a little bit slower than chapter 1 of Fourth Wing, but I think because we're already so invested as readers in this world, in these characters, and everything that is going on, and we're literally just thrown in right where book 1 left off, it's already so interesting. So definitely the pacing isn't as fast, but I feel like Rebecca Yarros is already like, you know what, girl, boy, person, you're already invested in this, so I'm just gonna throw this at you, and it's good. Okay, it's good. I am enjoying it. I am enjoying what's going on. I so far, so good. Okay, I know I'm not supposed to be updating every like 5 seconds, but chapter 2, we just found out Andarna is bigger and her scales are black. Like,
the black dragons are the big dragons, right? So now Violet is going to be tied to 2 super huge ass friggin' dragons. Yes. Hell yes. Yes. I love that. I love to see short, tiny little girls have a lot of power, because I am a short, tiny little girl too. I'm 5 foot nothing too. Love it. Okay, I have a prediction. I am on chapter 2, page 19, right? And Brennan is talking about how, like, their mom isn't on Violet's side, and Violet is like, no, she'll believe me, trust me. And then somebody even says, like, oh, your mom wasn't there when all these horrible things were happening. So I think that Violet mom, Lilith Sorrengail, is good. You know, and I think she may even be working for the rebellion. And the one that's in charge is Dane Ados's dad. He was the one that was in charge of the war games. He's the one that's doing all these horrible things. So I think, at least I'm hoping, that maybe we not underestimated, but we got the wrong idea of Dane, and he's actually a good guy. Maybe the reason why he takes these rules so seriously is only to protect Violet instead of hurting her. What do you guys think? Let me know. I am on page 68 now. I have just passed chapter 8. Chapter 8. We have officially met Sloane. Okay, and Sloane hates Violet. Okay, not only that, we also meet the king's third son, who I'm kind of guessing, or I'm kind of hoping that he's another love interest for Violet. You know, that way we keep things interesting, because she's mad at Xaden. I'm not saying that this guy's going to be endgame, but at least we get a little distraction, you know, so that we want Xaden back. Do you get what I mean? Also, there are some clues here that I have marked, including Dane says, or this is what I see. He's made one attempt to talk to me, and the look on his face, what kind of right does he have to look like that? Heartbroken. So I'm starting to think that Dane isn't the bad guy that we assumed he was, but that in fact he might be a puppet, I guess, or controlled somehow by his dad. And all these actions and all these things that he said in the past weren't his doing, but his father's. Do you get what I mean? But yes, right? And then, another thing that I needed to say is it is so cool seeing them in the second year, because the same thing that sort of happened in their first year, like they crossed the parapet, the dragon's land, to see it from another perspective of us, like, versus like us meeting the dragons for the first time and being like, oh my gosh, the dragons. We get to see it from a second year perspective, and Violet and everybody's just like, oh yeah, a dragons. She's just like, Violet's just like taking lint off of her shirt, like as if doesn't bug her at all. It's just so cool to like see it come like full circle from like the first book to now, and how the reactions are just vastly different, knowing that they've survived a whole year of the schooling and all kinds of crazy stuff. It's great. It's been great. I have already started noting things, little highlights and stuff, because I don't know, I'm starting to have some theories about Dane, definitely changing my mind. Curious to see how Sloane is going to play out, and the king's son. I really am hoping that he's going to be a temporary love interest for Violet, not a permanent one, because we want Xaden to be endgame, but at least something to keep like the, you know, spark going. We love a love triangle, okay? And Miss Yarros knows how to hit us with all the tropes. So give us a love triangle trope, please. So I'm on page 106. I am very close to chapter 12, literally a page away. Am I the only one that am a little underwhelmed, I guess, by the fact that
like Xaden and Violet's relationship and them leading up to that moment that when they were just gonna like explode together, you know, that kept me going so much, and now I feel like it's not there as much, you know what I mean? It's a little bit of a letdown now.
Okay, I'm on chapter 13. Remember what I said about Xaden and Violet and the underwhelmingness? Yeah, I take that back. Definitely not. There's still tension there. Good job, Rebecca Yarros, for making me eat my words. Great job. I am on chapter 22, page 215. There's a few things I want to talk about. Okay, first, let's talk about the fight, the actual fight in the ring or whatever between Dane and Violet. Because Dane says that he didn't know about Athbane, but he did know that he took a memory from her. But he knew that Xaden was doing something wrong, but he didn't exactly know what it is. Do we believe Dane? I'm not sure. I'm starting to think that Dane isn't the bad guy that we initially thought he was. And then not only that, but the king's son is on the rebellion side. Okay, so I am on page 216, and Violet just had that dream with the venom in it. And in the dream, the venom says, "I've waited centuries for someone with your power." So remember that theory that was speculating around Fourth Wing that Violet has this, like, there's some sort of prophecy behind Violet, and that's why her dad trained her for so long, like, about, like, the wyvern and about the venom. I think that, yeah, there is indeed a prophecy that, yeah, her dad did know, and I feel like Violet is the key to the venom getting their way, but she's also the key to the venom's undoing. It's getting really good. I'm super excited for this. I wonder how far it's going to go into that power and all that stuff in Iron Flame, because as of right now, Violet has no control over her lightning wielding. She doesn't know how to direct it. She doesn't know where it goes. She knows that she can do up to like 30 or something bolts in an hour before she's like completely starts overheating. But as of right now, she has no control over her power, really. So I'm like, how deep are we going to go into it in Iron Flame? When is it going to be when she actually fully grasps her power? And when is this whole war prophecy thing going to start happening? I don't know. I'm so excited. I am on page 35. We got to the scene where Varys is interrogating Violet. And then Dane had to help. And if you guys don't want spoilers, please close your ears now, or plug your ears now, because spoilers coming. Dane helped Violet. I knew it. I knew he wasn't as bad as everybody thought he was. We still don't know 100%, but he killed Varys and he got Violet out to help her. I don't know what's gonna happen next, but as of right now, we're starting to see that Dane doesn't seem like the baddest guy. We misunderstood him. I'm sorry, can we just talk about how everything is so asshat backwards right now? I am on chapter 37. I'm officially on part 2 of Iron Flame. What is going on? Okay, first of all, Jack Barlow saved Violet's life. Excuse me, what? Dane isn't as bad as we thought he was, and he actually left with Xaden and Violet, and they took half of Basgiath with them, and then Lilith Sorrengail told Xaden to protect Violet, and she's on their side. Excuse me, what? Hello, you guys. I am on page 374, and there's a few little updates. First of all, I want to talk about the update of Andarna, the fact that she was never Like, she has, I don't know, I feel like she's very much like Violet, where Violet has this disability that she has to, that kind of challenges her. It's not a weakness, it's a challenge. And now Andarna seems to have the same thing after she wakes up. And I was waiting for the moment where we were finally going to be able to start seeing Violet have control of her powers. And we're finally starting to see that, because with Professor Carr just made her do as many lightning strikes as possible, but she was never given a direction to direct them to. She didn't know who to hit, where to hit, any of that. And now with this guy, what's his name? Felix is actually teaching her how to use and wield her power, how to start with small strikes, how she is the power source, she is the cloud and not the sky itself, which Violet thought she was. And he says something like, your power just manifests as lightning because that's what you're comfortable with. So I'm like, does she not just have lightning? Can she control other elements as well? It's like making me think, like, interesting. Yeah, it seems like Violet doesn't just have lightning power, because he says it manifests as lightning because that's what you're comfortable with. So I'm assuming that Violet is able to wield not just lightning, but other elements too. And she is the key. I feel like the iron rain that the Wardstone's talking about, she's the key to it somehow. But we'll see. We'll see. So I am on page 492 of Iron Flame and eating pickles. Okay. Let's talk about a few things. The fight with Kat. I cannot stand this girl, and I don't see her having any redeemable qualities. Like, she could suddenly be good, right? And like forgive Violet or whatever, and I still would hate her with a passion. I can't. She's only with Satan for the crown. And also, we figured out the Wardstone. We figured out that it's the breath of life, but it would leave the Griffins powerless, which is great, which is fantastic. Do you know why? Because Kat doesn't need any more power, because screw her. I'm so done with her. She irritates the shit out of me. I'm hoping, you know who would make a good couple with her? Dane and Kat. Perfect. So yeah, everything's going so good. I feel like the pacing is again slowing down a lot after we left like Biscaya and all that stuff happened. I feel like the pacing slowed down again, but we know why it's called Iron Flame now, because it's not Iron Rain, it's Iron Flame. Here's my little dragon. That's my dragon. I am on chapter 56. Xaden has two signets because he is a direct descendant of Scale, or because his grandfather was the previous writer, and you either go crazy or you develop a second signet. And so Violet realized that, and she's like, you want me to ask you a question directly? What's your second signet? And then it shocks Xaden. He has a second signet, and I hope that Violet gets one too. They are going, gosh. And plus, oh my gosh, I haven't even talked about Sloane. Sloane's power is to deplete other people's powers. But I think that if she can do that, if she can deplete their power, can she take it for her own? What? I just have so many questions. Xaden is a mind reader, or a type of mind reader. That's why nobody knows his signet. And now Violet knows, but Taryn didn't know. And now there's like this betrayal between Scale and Taryn, and now there's a betrayal between Xaden and Violet, and that line really is really sad. Like, that made me cry. That less than a minute. That's how long it took you to fall out of love with me. exactly 100 pages away from finishing the book. I knew there was going to be a scene where I started to cry. I knew it was coming, and it's usually 100 pages away, like the death of Liam in Fourth Wing. And all I can think is that there's going to be another scene that makes me cry. Chapter 59. So they talked with like General Melgren or whatever, and they thought that that the Wyvern and the Venom were going to attack Samara. But they're not attacking Samara. They're attacking Vizcaya. And now they're all going to war because they have to protect the Vale, obviously, where the dragons' hatching grounds are. Or all the wards around Vizcaya will fall. This is getting so intense. I do not know what's going to happen because we literally have less than 100 pages left. Okay? There's less than 100 pages left. And I'm like, what the heck? I don't think a war can finish in less than 100 pages. So I'm like, what's going to happen? What the heck? I'm scared because Rebecca Yarros is known for being ruthless with killing off characters that we enjoy and ripping our hearts out and tearing it up into little tiny pieces. If something happens to Taryn, to Andarna, to Scale, to Xaden, even to Rhiannon, and Mira, I really enjoy Mira and Brennan. I will flip my fudging shiznit. Okay? I'm scared. I'm really scared to finish it. I'm terrified because I know we're about to lose some people. I just know. And I'm scared. I just finished Iron Flame. Xaden, Violet's mom died. I surprisingly didn't cry about that. I thought I would, but I didn't. And Xaden is Venom. And Andarna's not a black dragon. She's a unique dragon that's been waiting 650 years to hatch, and I'm just like, what is going on here? There's just so much going on, and oh my gosh, what's gonna happen to Xaden? What's gonna happen? They're back at Vizcaya. I just like want to stare at a wall at this moment because I need to like process everything. I'm gonna process everything, and I guess I will get back to you guys with the final review.
Hello, we are back with the non-spoiler review. I am going to have a spoiler talk and theories for the rest of the series in a separate video that is going to be coming 2 days from now. So stay tuned for that. Make sure to subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you can be notified when that comes out too, because I have a lot of theories and I've been seeing a lot of theories on TikTok as well describing, it's just wild, and I really want to talk about it. But for the final review of Iron Flame. So, Iron Flame, honestly, I enjoyed it. I felt like it was a lot more slow-paced than Fourth Wing, because Fourth Wing, it was very, like, non-stop action. You know, Rebecca Yarros wanted a way to get the readers hooked on the story, and with Fourth Wing, she did it. We invested in it, and now with Iron Flame, I feel like Rebecca Yarros already knows that her readers are already very absorbed and obsessed with the world and the characters. So she knows that she's hooked us. So I feel like her pacing sort of slowed down because she knows that we're already hooked. She already did the initial hooking that she needed to do. It picks up in the in the middle of the book, and then I feel like it slows down again, and then it picks up again at the very end of the book. It took a while for me to read. Okay, this book, even though it's only 623 pages, it took me about 8 to 9 days to finish this book, versus Fourth Wing, which is 400 and something pages. It only took me like 4 or 5 days, and then I found out why. If you guys know the series, the Crescent City series, the first book is 799 pages for the paperback edition, and it actually has 204,000 words in an 800-page book. Iron Flame has 623 pages because Rebecca Yarros' font is very, very small, and it's actually a meme now how tiny the font is. There is 240 words in Iron Flame, minimum. So it's even longer than Crescent City and less pages because the text is so small. So if it takes you a long time to get through this book, be mindful that it's technically can be stretched out into a 800, 900 page book. Just take that into consideration when reading this, because I was like, what is wrong with me? Why is it taking me so long? I thought there was something wrong with me personally. And that's not the case. The text is just very small and the pages are very large. Let's talk about the things that I did like, and let's talk about the things that I didn't like. The things that I did like, we got a lot of answers. I don't want to specify what answers that we got, but I felt like there was a lot of loose ends tied, and Rebecca Yarros did a very good job of doing that, while also creating hype and excitement for the continuation of the series, because now we have more unanswered questions. Now we have things that still have not been explained and we're waiting to get to in book 3. There are theories that we are just so excited about. There is just so much potential within the series, and Rebecca Yarros does a really good job at creating that excitement. Of course, we have a cliffhanger ending like the first one. I'm not going to get into what the cliffhanger is, anything like that, because like I said, that this is a non-spoiler review, but we end with a cliffhanger ending, and that's where we get to what I didn't like. I didn't like the ending, okay? I just felt like it was unnecessary. I just feel like it didn't need to happen. I just felt like it was just to create drama where drama wasn't needed. Like, she wanted to continue that high-paced tension, and it just sort of flat. It was sort of like flat for me. I was like, really? This too now? Another thing that I want to talk about is Violet. I enjoyed Violet in Fourth Wing. She had so much tremendous growth from the very beginning of the book to the very end. We see her starting off as like a very weak, she felt like a very weak person because she had this disability, and then when we get to the end of the book, she has so much growth and she knows that she's strong and she doesn't see her weakness. She doesn't see her weakness as a weakness, but just as a challenge that she can get past. And then in Iron Flame, while she still sees herself as strong, which I really enjoy, she tends to be such a whiny character, and her inner monologue is just constantly like, I just feel like she sort of regressed a little bit instead of having more growth. She kind of went back, and I understand that she had to face like the trauma that she did after the events of the first book, but I just felt like there was just so, I don't know, like things didn't need to happen. I just felt like she just was so whiny. And then the relationship between Xaden and Violet just became so, like, they were constantly fighting and clashing, and there were so many secrets, and it just got to the point where it started to feel very toxic. And I know that Rebecca Yarros wanted to create this so she could continue that tension that we got in the first book, and it didn't come off as tension to me. It came off more as like, this is getting annoying and it's becoming toxic, like either break them up already or solve it. Because I was so done with their constant fighting and arguing. I'm like, this is childish. This needs to stop. So those were the problems that I had. The ending, Violet regressing instead of growing as a character, and then Xaden and Violet's relationship, which is pretty much everything that we loved about Fourth Wing that flopped for me. So unfortunately, I really did like this book. Don't get me wrong, I really did enjoy it, but this ended up being a 4 out of 5 star read for me instead of just a straight up 5-star because of the inconsistent pacing, because of Violet regressing, because of their relationship, that turns very, like, it just feels, it's not that it turns toxic, it just feels toxic. And then the ending that flopped for me. The ending flopped for me. So that is my review on Iron Flame. Let me know what you guys think if you guys read it. Also, if you have read it, please stay tuned for the spoiler talk and my theories on the rest of the series. I'm still very excited for the rest of the series, of course. Fourth Wing was like the best book I've ever read in my whole life, so I am hoping that it gets better. There's some series where like 1 or 2 books tend to like not be as good, but then the continuation of the series gets really, really good. For example, like the Divergent series, the first book was really good, the second one was like eh, and then the third one was like better. I'm hoping that the next books get better and better again. Anyways, you guys, that is my thoughts on Iron Flame. This has been my reading vlog. If you have any other questions, concerns, anything like that, anything that you want to talk about Iron Flame wise or book wise or any otherwise, please put them down in the comments below. I have also listed my Goodreads, my Booktok, and my Amazon wishlist down below as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.